So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can trade futures on IBKR desktop, and this is specifically if you're looking to trade futures on IBKR desktop, because trading futures varies from platform to platform and it can be a little bit confusing, especially for beginners. So I'm going to walk you step by step how to trade futures, and we're going to see what futures are and why trade them on IBKR, how to enable futures trading, how to find futures contract on IBKR, how to set up futures charts, how to add futures on your watch list, and so much more. And if you happen to find value in this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't, because this is going to be covering more on trading futures, mini futures, stocks, and so much more on IBKR desktop. So futures are contracts obligating the buyer to purchase or sell an asset at a predetermined date and price. They pretty much allow businesses to hedge against price volatility and traders to speculate on commodities like oil or gold and other financial instruments like the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. So in a nutshell, it's basically buying something at a future date, hence the name futures. Now, futures can be traded on different platforms. IBKR is one of them. Now, IBKR allows you to actually trade on lower commissions compared to other platforms. It gives an access to a wide range of futures markets such as S&P 500, Nasdaq, gold, and so much more. Now, the only problem with trading futures on IBKR is that you require a margin account. Okay, a margin account is actually a bigger account compared to a cash account. This is an account that requires at least $2,000 to actually trade futures. That is just the requirement, but to actually trade futures, because you need to cover costs like intraday trading cost, which takes like 50% of your account. So you'll need something that is much more than $2,000. So if you really want to trade futures, you will need to have a large capital to trade futures, and this is why you see many people opting to trade futures using prop firms. Okay, it's much easier to get into futures using prop firms. That way you can basically buy small accounts as little as even $70, trade futures like NQ, ES, GQ, CL, and grow your account from there. You can even practice from there. So if you don't have a large amount, or if you're not really familiar with trading futures, it's best if you use a prop firm, buy a small account and practice your trading skills from there, or just grow your account using prop firms. Okay, but if you're someone who already has that amount, who already has that experience, you can consider trading IBKR, consider trading futures on IBKR. Now, another thing that you need to note is you need to apply for a futures trading account. And this is something that most people already assume that they already have, but you actually need to apply to IBKR in order to get your futures settings enabled. Now, this is something that you can actually chat with the broker. You can chat with your IBKR broker using the chatting system or automated chatting system, which will directly give you a link to how you can actually apply for your trading or for your futures trading. So now I'm going to show you how to find your futures contracts or your futures instrument on IBKR desktop. So what you're going to do is basically go over to your watch list or quote. Okay, you can easily find it on watch list. Now, under your watch list, you're going to click on this plus over here. I already have some futures instruments over here, and it's very easy. The same way that you found your stocks or the other instruments is the same thing that you're going to do over here. So you're going to click on this plus over here, and you can just type, you can basically just search for your symbol. For example, if you want NQ, which is for Nasdaq, you can just type NQ there, and you're going to see mini Nasdaq, and you're going to click on this. It's usually the first one, so click on it and it's going to appear up over here. So I already have mine appearing here. Okay, and then now to open the option chain or the chart, you can just basically right click on it and you have your option chain over here. So you're going to click on that, which will then take you to the options chain, and as you can see, it's very similar to stocks, the stocks options chain. So if you want to buy your futures, you can basically buy it from here, and it works a similar way to stocks. Okay, so you're in the money or you're at the money over here. Here's where you get into the market, where you're in this row here, the first black row. Okay, it keeps moving because the markets are still moving. So this dark section here is in the money and at the money. Okay, at the money is actually the beginning over here, and in the money is inside over here, and out the money is basically the lighter shaded area over here. So this is, like I said earlier on a previous video, if you intend for the market to go up or to go bullish, you buy it using a call over here. Okay, and if you're expecting a bearish move or the market to go down, you buy it using this put section over here from the ask column. Okay, on your right hand side over here. So it works pretty much the same way with stocks options. Now if you want to look for another futures contract, you can basically you don't need to go to watch list. If you're already here, you can just click on add symbol and search for your futures contract over here. So for example, you want to look for gold. Gold is GC, so you can just type GC over here, and as you can see here, it's going to show you futures. Make sure you click on futures, or the one that's showing futures. You select that, you click on the first one over here, which is going to take us to the chart. Okay, but if you want to go to the options, you can basically switch from here. You can click on options over here, and just like the others, you're going to find your options chain over here. Again, you want to buy using the ask section if you want to buy, and if you want to sell, you're going to use the ask section over here. Okay, another contract, futures contract is a popular one is oil. So oil is CL. Okay, for futures, you can search for it there. Okay, make sure you click on the one that's written futures. You're going to select that, click on the first one, and there you go. So you have your oil. If you go to options, you're going to find your options chain. Now as you can see, oil is much cheaper compared to the other contracts or commodities. Now let's take a look at the charts for gold, or rather for oil. Now I have this dual screen setup enabled. This is something that you can also enable. Basically allows you to see different charts. For example, you can see what one contract is doing here, or one futures contract is doing here, and another futures contract is doing over here. Although I covered this on another video, on a previous video actually, but let me just quickly show you. So I'm going to minimize that ticker section and the pricing section to make this wider. So if you want to enable this dual screen, first you're going to click on this over here, and you're going to see over here you have two. So for vertical and horizontal. Okay, you want to set it at vertical. By default is this, of course, which is the first one, but you're going to click on the second one, vertical. And now as you can see, we are in the 5-minute chart for both of them. Okay, and both of them are sorry, this is actually QQQ. So I'm going to change this now. If you want to change this to oil, which is CL over here, you just click on this chart over here, make sure it's highlighted in blue, or the borders are in blue, and then you're going to first, let's open this, and you're going to look for oil. Okay, which is this again. I'm going to select that, and as you can see now, it has been changed to oil. So now we have two oil charts over here. Now what you can do is also change the time frame. Okay, so we're currently, like I said earlier, in the 5-minute. Now if you want to view the maybe 1 hour or 4 hour or a different time frame, you can just change it from here. And for example, I'm going to click on 4 hour, and this is going to show me the 4 hour time frame of oil, while this one here is still in the 5-minute. You can see it over here. You can confirm it from here. This is 5-minute, and this one is 4 hour. Okay, now something that I also need to point out, as you can see, we have this clock over here. Okay, this basically means there is delayed market. This is delayed market. Now usually if you haven't paid for market data, you're always going to get by default delayed data, which is about 15 minutes, which is not really ideal for trading because you can't trade with delayed data. So what you want to do is to actually pay for that market data. Now this depends on the exchange, platform. There are different exchange platforms that IBKR also needs to cover or pay, like CME, CBOT, NYMEX. It's usually around $10 a month. That is, I think, on the cheaper side, but you can even pay as much as $35 per month for, I think, all of them combined. So that is something that you also need to, be mindful of, because I'm sure you're seeing these yellow boxes here wondering what they are. This is basically showing you delayed market. So you really can't trade effectively if you have delayed market. So keep that in mind. Now if you want to add your futures contracts on a watch list, you just go over here to your watch list over here. Okay, like I showed you earlier. So these are all my watch lists. Okay, now it's very, very straightforward. You're already in the watch list section over here. So if you want to look for another futures contract, you just click on this, and then you type it over here, you select it, which will also appear over here on your watch list section. Okay, so now I'm going to show you I can place a trade on a futures contract. So for example, NQ, I can just right click, and I can either do it from here. I can either buy or sell. You can even set alerts. So what I like to do first is to go over to the options chain. Okay, you want to buy it from the options chain, is going to be much easier. And from here you can click on your ask. Okay, remember, you always want to buy if you intend the market to go up, or if you're expecting a bullish move, you want to click on the ask. Now, as a beginner, I recommend you place a trade on the OTM, or out of the money trade, okay, because you're going to risk much less money. Okay, you're going to make less money, but you're also going to risk less money. Okay, so 2 OTM is the best place to get into a trade, or 1 OTM. Okay, but I recommend 2 OTM, that is 2 trades out of the money. Okay, or 1 trade out of the money. All right, it's actually the safest way to start trading futures or even stocks. So you're going to click on, I'm going to just basically start with the 1 OTM. I'm going to click on this, which is also going to open our buy order over here on the right hand side. And just like stocks, you can place different, you can increase your amount of contracts. Okay, you can increase 2 contracts, and it's basically going to tell you how much you're going to spend. And as you can see, this is what it's going to cost you. Like I said, trading futures is actually expensive. It's going to cost you this much, $10,000 USD. So that is for 3 trades, that is for 3 contracts rather. Okay, but if you just want 1, it's going to cost you 3.4k. okay, 3,400 USDs. All right, and then what you want to do next is to place your market. Now, if you leave it at limit, now limit is pretty much setting your market at a limit order. Okay, once the market hits that limit order, it's going to execute your trade and it's going to fill you in. But if you want to get into the trade immediately, you're going to click on market. Now, I never use limit or stop. I always click on market, which puts me into the trade immediately. Okay, and another thing that you want to do, you have your time in force. So you want to enable your time in force. Now, if you want to trade within the day, and if you don't expect to go to the following day or the market to roll over to the following day, you can leave it at day. But if you intend to hold the market through the night to the following day or the following days, you can hit a GTC. Okay, for futures, it's recommended you do day. Personally, I would do day because it's actually much more expensive if you're going to hold your trade overnight. So you might as well just leave it at day. Okay, and it's also going to show you the ask amount, how you basically got into, and your bid amount over here. And then another thing that you want to do is to attach your order. So you're attaching your orders allows you to set your take profit TP and also your stop loss. Now, if you want to set your take profit, you can just enable that check and have this. By default, it's going to give you a certain amount for your take profit. Okay, again, you can adjust it over here. Okay, depending on how much you want the take profit to be. So I'm going to set it maybe at, let me just set it at, let me go over to this. I'm just going to use my mouse and scroll to maybe 207. Okay, so that is my profit taker. And then also your stop loss, you can enable your stop loss over here, which is also automatically going to set your stop loss. So if it hits 178, right now it's currently 193. If it hits 178, it's going to take me out of the market. Okay, and I'm going to leave all of this at my time in force by default here, and this is what it's going to cost me now, plus commissions and your broker fee and your spread. Okay, it's going to add a small amount, which is in total going to be 3.6k. Okay, and then you can now submit your order, and it's going to give you your order. Now it's telling me my order has been rejected because of this. Okay, your commodity account liquidation value plus excess equity must be at least 2,000 USD or equivalent. So like I told you earlier, you need at least 2,000 USDs in order to trade futures. Okay, although this is a demo account, I can actually increase the amount. This is a paper account, so I can increase the amount to even 2,000 or 5,000, but that is pretty much what you need, and this is what is going to cost you. Okay, 3,600. So that is what is required, and you're going to click on submit, and your market is going to go through. So let me see if I can increase this. Let me cancel this. And in order to do that, you're going to click on this circle over here, your profile icon over here, and you're going to deposit withdraw funds, which will now take you to our web page. Okay, the IBKR web page for your account. And you're then going to go over here, you're going to click on your profile picture again over here, you're going to go to account settings. All right, and you're going to click on this config over here under paper trading account, and I'm going to click on choose one. I'm going to enter the amount here. I can set, let me set to 5,000. Okay, it's 5,000. I click on continue. All right, and now if I go back to my IBKR And there you go. So sometimes it takes a while, and now we have our 5,000 here. So now I can click on submit order. All right, now you can see order confirmation. We don't have that red notification here. So this is basically my kind of like my receipt. It's going to tell me my buy order contract of NQ, the date it was taken, you know, the account type, you know, all that. Okay, all of that. And then I'm going to scroll down over here. It's going to tell me how much it cost me. Okay, now right now it has increased because, you know, it keeps increasing because the market is moving. So that is why it has increased. And I'm going to click on transmit. So once I click on transmit, okay, it's going to fill us in immediately. Click on OK. My order has been submitted, as you can see there. Okay, you can scroll down and see more information over here, and you click on done, and now you're already in, as you can see, already in the trade. And you can tell that, you know, your market has already been executed, or your order has already been executed and filled by looking at the daily P&L over here. So as you can see, it's moving. So again, with futures, you can actually trade any time of the day. So I believe I covered the essentials on futures trading. If there's anything else that you think I missed out, or if you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments. But then again, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to learn how to trade options, I do have a video over here that shows you how to set up your options trading on IBKR for optimal settings, or for optimal trading rather, so you can know how to trade options effectively and also set up your charts as well.